What if I told you that Saint Valentine wasn't just some greeting card saint? That back in his day, he was a rebel. He stood against both church and state, and he stood up for love because he knew the power of divine union is the greatest threat there is to scandal and war and corruption. And while eventually, the empire of ancient Rome fell. Well, this week the stars begin to align almost the same as they did back then. As Neptune enters Aries, that same war, it's happening now. And it's happening between the headlines and your heart. This week we're going to explore how to find and keep your center in a world which seems to be going mad.
Welcome to a new paradigm, a new way of being, free from shame, self-limitation, or cultural programming. Welcome to a new you, a new world, full of endless possibilities. Welcome to your Tantric awakening.
Welcome to Season 2 of the Tantric Awakening podcast, everybody. I'm Andre Knight.
And I'm Kendall Rose.
And, well, today's topic might be a little bit heavy. I mean, if we look around the news today, there's just so much happening, right? What we're learning from the Epstein files, ICE causing chaos in our city streets. We kidnapped the president of Venezuela, for crying out loud, invaded their country and took their president. And now we're making threats against Greenland and possibly leaving NATO and the UN. It feels like it's easy to believe that it feels like there's more division than unity in the world. Like, we get it. It's heavy. We get messages from people saying, I'm overwhelmed. I just want to hide. And that's just it. This is what they don't want you to know. All this chaos, it's not random, first of all. A lot of it's designed to keep you distracted and to keep your energy at a certain vibration. But then the other thing to know is that there's things beyond those powers. There are cycles in the stars, one of which we're seeing repeat. And this particular transit, the last time it was seen over America was the beginning of the American Civil War. And as we mentioned in the introduction of the show, the same stars were over Rome when its empire began to fall apart as well. But here's the thing. Authoritarians rise to power when there's a vacuum, when we give our power away. We usually trade it for promises of safety and security, usually false promises. And then when the shadow of those leaders is revealed and we realize we cannot rely on them and they fall away, the false father, it's called sometimes, or the shadow king, right? We realize that the only place where authority ever really did lie was inside of ourselves. That's where we ultimately need to turn to. So I would love to start, Kendall, for maybe people don't know what it means when we say Neptune is in Aries, and this transit just got underway. So can you explain to us what those energies are?
Yeah, happy to. And I'm so glad to be back on our podcast in this space we've created. And it's so amazing to be back here with you and all of you who tune in from all over the world. And so thank you for being here, first and foremost. But yeah, to lean into Neptune in Aries, it's a new era. Literally, it's a new era for the collective consciousness. Neptune is in what I would call the age of the spiritual fire. It's the energy of where we've been, which is we've been in the collective Piscean water element, and now we're going into fire territory. And that's a very Martian territory where the heat has been turned up, and we are being asked collectively to recognize that, yes, we've been dreaming. Yes, we've been grieving, empathizing with one another for many, disassociating or trying to disconnect from reality. But this era of what I feel truly is the sharpening of the inner warrior is here to forge many people into rising and taking action.
Okay.
Right. So we are in that space, and it's about embodiment. It's not just about, oh, I have this idea or this there's something on my heart, and it's been on my heart, and well, it's not so elusive anymore. We were going from the age of disillusionment to the energy of what the horse is going to bring as well. With the Chinese New Year, we're at the tail end of the snake, going into where
Shedding
we're at
its
now.
skin.
Yeah, shedding its skin into this next era, which it's going to last from now, 2025 to 2039. So buckle up. We're going to be in this transit together. All of us on the planet are feeling it. And if you haven't already felt it, you likely are, because, for example, the difference of where Piscean energy is with regards to surrender, we're going from the journey of surrender to initiation.
Mm-hmm.
And initiation is a big part of our work as a couple individually, and also our clients and our community. Our work is all about initiation, which I'm really excited about, because initiations, I believe, are ancestral. They are rooted in powerful, transformative, alchemizing moments for people. Like our ancestors, when I think about myself as a woman, as a soul, I can look back on the initiations, like my first menstrual bleed, and how it initiated me into a new era.
Okay.
Right? So we're going from surrender to initiation. We're also going from fantasy to action. We're going from that place of like I was mentioning earlier, it's not so much in your head anymore. It's not an idea. If you have like a crush on somebody, for example, it's not in your head anymore. This energy, Neptune is like, take action, be direct, be forward, go for it. Right? Which is super, super amazing, when there's clarity, right? That's that Aries fire for you. We're going to go from save me mentality to I choose. That really big shift, right? I think the martyr heretic archetype is, we're seeing a lot of us. I think a lot of people are seeing right now where they've given their power away. And I think it's directly tied to this, actually, because when you are constantly looking outside of yourself for answers, for direction, a lot of the times people are looking for a savior. It's that savior complex in our psyche sometimes, when we're just looking for someone to save us. And this Neptune in our Aries is really like, I choose. What do you choose? What is your truth? Because here's the thing, Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. Very beginning. It's a huge deal that Neptune,
hence the collapse of old cycles,
is at
and
0 degrees.
beginning of new
And
ones.
very shortly, Saturn is going to calypso into a divine union, which Saturn is all about discipline and making sure like things actually get done. Like it's a dissolving and an action oriented. It's a very powerful transit right now. And so, yeah, we're looking at the Aries energy. Aries is all about the body, right? It's looking at the first house of the zodiac. It's all about the sense of self. It's your perception. It's your personality. It's you and how you relate to you, right? It's opposite that 7th house, which is all about partnership and marriages and contracts. So what we're having is a big initiation right now around that big question of like, who am I? Why am I here? What is my part in all of this, because yes, there might be a lot of heaviness in the world right now, as we have been talking about, as we've been reflecting on, as I'm sure so many of you have been just like, whoa, there's so much around. And yet this transit, this moment is our collective initiation. And I'll also say last thing here is we're going from longing to diffusing longing to direct desire. We're going into that more, not letting things linger so much in your psyche, that that inaction and self-sabotage is just the choice. It's going from there to, I'm owning my desire and I'm directing my energy towards that desire. It's pouring back into yourself. So it's very spiritual. It's very very beautiful, because it's really inviting us to ask, are you willing to act on this love, this desire, this dream of yours? This is the time. So that's what I would say about this transit and where we're at.
Well, that's really powerful. I mean, initiation is one of the things that is lacking in our culture. We've talked about it on this podcast before. What initiations teach you to do, they teach you to step into a position of leadership. Whether that's leading your community or just having the confidence to lead yourself, your family.
Yeah.
Right? Have confidence in your intuition, in your decisions. That's the fortitude that those rites of passage and rituals build.
Yeah.
And when it's lacking in our society, we start to look outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
And this is where people who don't necessarily deserve power end up stepping into power. Is exactly there. And then you spoke into illusions. The releasing of illusions, like that is exactly what we're seeing happening.
Bubbles are being popped.
Everything that's coming out now is, I remember during the campaigns, the conspiracy theories were floating around, except it was the Democrats doing it back then. All these horrific things. And now we find out the man who said he was going to clean up the swamp is the swamp.
Yeah.
You know? And we're seeing through the illusion, and what we're seeing really is inversion. Because what it comes down to with a lot of these men, yes, sex is involved, but it's much more about power and about having power over the powerless and about knowing they're doing things that are probably the most awful, condemned things in our society. From a moral standpoint, there's that rush and thrill of knowing you are special enough to get away with it. It's one part power over the powerless, and it's one part I get special rules. I get away with stuff nobody can. But as you and I know, and as you and I teach, sexual energy can be life transforming. It can be healing. And here we're seeing like the awful, literally corrupt inversion, perversion of this energy. And I think what it sows in a lot of people, because it's constantly in front of us in our headlines, I think it develops in people when they feel their own sexual urges and desires. Guilt sets in, shame sets in, and a lot of that old programming sets in because you're constantly shown the inversion of it. So the danger is you end up not just being angry at Trump, not just being angry at Jeffrey Epstein, but you end up having feelings around your own sexuality and sexual urges when they come up, even in an appropriate setting. You start to develop a fear or an aversion to the energy itself as individuals and as a collective society. That's the real danger of the moment we're in right now. And if love comes under question and compassion dies, it gets a lot easier to start wars and things. You see, first you have to make a population like really afraid and really numb.
That's it. I'm right there with you.
But here's the thing. Valentine's Day is coming up, and I opened with Saint Valentine. So he was a 3rd century monk, and in his time, and it's not that his actions led to the fall of Rome, but the set of circumstances that did cause the fall of Rome kind of set into motion during the tail end of his lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
But Rome was finding itself under very authoritarian rule, very militarized at the time. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of parallels. The empire was surviving and thriving by conquering the territories around them and taking their resources and
Yeah.
expanding. And such an effort, as you can imagine, the military had lots of requirements. All the young men, when they came of a certain age, were conscripted and required to join the military, to be a soldier and to join, these invading legions, unless they had a child or a child on the way.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, with heavy church rule, right, 300 AD, the Catholic Church is just getting underway and consolidating its power in Rome. Sex before marriage? No. So Saint Valentine, he went against both church and state and would sneak out at night and illegally perform weddings. This is his association to the Day of
Mm-hmm.
Love. He would perform weddings so that these men could legally marry, so they could have children, and so they wouldn't be eligible for the draft. So it was actually, besides helping these individual families, like it was very much a concerted anti-war, anti-militarization effort on his part.
Yeah.
So there are parallels,
Yeah.
The absence of love is what creates corruption and war, and the presence of love are exactly the things that can stop it.
Yes. we definitely are all about that love, and I love that. That's the anchor of our relationship, and I'm also really grateful that that's what we represent through embodiment. And it's the journey of love with the other and developing empathy and compassion, and it always begins with yourself. And that journey that I believe is very Aries filled, which is all about recognizing that knowing thyself, really understanding who you are, embodying your own sovereignty is freedom, is peace, right? And the biggest thing that has been encouraging me even through this time, because I go up and down in my energy, and there's like, whoa, it's a lot. Like I find something out and I'm like, whoa. And like what grounds me is recognizing, yes, there are horrible things that have happened throughout history that are happening right now. And it's horrible, right? And yet I always come back to my nervous system, my heart, and asking myself, what can I control? Like, what actually can I do today that expands love in my body? And it's wild, but even for me, a big thing amidst all of this is to continually reclaim and just put time into loving myself, self-pleasure, us making love. Like, to me, those are the acts and in intentional rituals that are grounding me in this time, because I am aware, and I'm really grateful you brought it up, because I am aware that like probably a lot of people are feeling afraid or questioning their sexuality, or just being like, how could somebody do this? And maybe their mind's going down a rabbit hole of sorts. And I'd be curious to know your thoughts about this. Like, what would you want to tell that person? Because that's where I'm at right now, is like, if I were to answer that for myself, I would really lean towards, it's okay to feel your feelings, and yet you get to make a choice, take action. Like, I'm very talking Neptune and Aries already, but you get to choose pleasure. You get to choose joy. You get to choose the higher road, I believe, which is keeping your heart open, is doing the inner work, is reminding yourself of what you could be grateful for, like little things. I'm curious to know your thoughts on that.
Well,
Speaking to the specifics of that.
that's a great answer. What I would add to that is learn to distinguish the two energies. And this is why I brought up the inversion, because
Right.
sexual energy, like in the context of Tantra, is very nurturing, very healing, very empowering.
Mm-hmm.
The inversion, what was going on at some of those parties, it was about extracting from.
Yes.
It was siphoning energy. You mentioned when you were in the ministry program in your church, you literally used the word harvesting. You felt like your energy was being harvested. So that's the difference. You see, when it's inverted, when it's predatory, it's about taking from.
Yes. Yeah. I want to add on to that because I mentioned this earlier on my Instagram, that there's a difference between extraction based intimacy or sex and circulating sexual energy. And I think it's important we talk maybe a little bit about a tantric principle around this, because one thing I've noticed in our personal experiences, but also just lately, that life force energy, the basis of sexual energy, is meant to move, right? It's meant to move through the world. It's meant to be flowing. Everything, even matter, is moving. Like, yes, it's still, this mic is in front of me, but it's still moving. So
right, it's made up of particles that are constantly bouncing around.
Yeah, exactly. So how I see this is, I think this is also in a way directly connected to what happens when we suppress energy, and how that relates to scarcity mindset. I believe there's a direct correlation, because here's the thing. Sexual energy is meant to be moved. It's meant to heal the person, right? And when you come into, for example, union, it's about presence. It's about, are you fully being witnessed in such energy? And I just feel, with regards to what's going on right now, is the authoritarianism that we're seeing exercised over many people is directly connected to the sexuality suppressive culture
100%.
and the lack of sex education. Because I truly believe that if you're not educated, and we've talked about this so many times, but like, if you're not educated around your own body, your own nervous system, your own breath, for example, you don't know how to approach boundaries using your voice, taking action, and you live in a place of like limerence or fantasy and very Neptunian and Piscean, and you're not in that, like, empowering yourself despite the system. I think that's where a lot of people is still in that victim mentality to the system, and of recognizing that the system itself is broken. And I think that's really important to identify. And it was definitely a big part of my awakening to recognize that this system, the ecosystem itself, was not holding me anymore. For example, the religious Christian church, the doctrine wasn't holding me, the environment, the people, it was just not supporting where I was wanting to go, which was, for me, my sexual liberation and just freedom to be in that.
Yeah, that tends to ruffle feathers.
And I feel like a lot of people are having that awareness right now, but also a lot of people are having this awareness of like, whoa, I'm an American, and my government, this government that governs, is not really governing. It's covering. It's literally protecting people itself, and it's protecting the predators. It's protecting those that need to be held accountable. And that to me is a huge red flag. And I know it is what Neptune and Aries is representing right now, for people to remember that you are your own sovereign being despite this, and you get to make a new choice. And I've seen this in action, Andre. I'll give you an example. I saw a reel, I think it was like last week or the last few weeks. And it was this guy who had literally been a pastor for, gosh, over 20 years, I think. And he recognized, it was so wild. I reposted it. He's like, I recognize the damage that I did, saying what I said, teaching what I taught. And he's like, I've never felt more grace than I have felt walking these streets, standing up, standing up with fellow Americans that are different than me. I've never felt more welcomed by people that are different from me. And like, this feels amazing. And
a little bit like the love that Jesus preached about,
right?
maybe.
So I think that's what Neptune and Aries is doing. It's reaching the parts of the one person. I know it's cliche, but it's like an individual. It is. It's an individual awakening journey. And that's what's giving me hope, because there is chaos in the world. I mean, there's things that are happening that you don't even know about, that, and things like a lot of people didn't know about, that are coming to the surface right now. So it's a matter of, I believe, keeping your heart open.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, you mentioned our government not serving us. People ask, well, are you a Republican or a Democrat? Like, are you red or blue? We've reduced our tribalism to colors. Like, are you a crypt or a blood? Like, seriously? Where was either side in Supreme Court ruling after Supreme Court ruling and after invasion after invasion? Like, where was anybody doing their job on either side of the aisle? Like, you want to know what color I am? Like, neither. I'm in the human party. Like the name of the show says here, I'm here for collective human awakening. I'm not here to divide or choose sides. And I think that's the problem. Or not the problem. This is, I think, the core question. With any ideology or anything that people are putting in front of you, just ask yourself, does it create division or does it create more unity? And which side do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the side of division, or do you want to be on the side of unity, like this pastor found out? And yeah, it is confusing. It's tough. I wanted to mention, on astrology, you guys, sometimes your individual charts, or if you're partnered, a synergy chart of two charts. And like, one thing that you did was really cool. You did one for Tantric Awakening, the organization. So it can be a romantic partner, or it can be you and a business idea. Anything that has a start date, really, this can be done on. But Kendall's like really amazing. And if you need some guidance, if you need help finding your center and your truth, it helps sometimes to look and see what's written in the stars. And we wanted to let you guys know, in honor of St. Valentine's and in honor of the month of love, we've got a special for you, not only for these readings at a special price. There's a link in the description down below, if that sounds of interest. But we also do coaching for individuals and couples to help you find your true north and your purpose, or maybe figure out what's been blocking you up till now. And normally these are two separate services that we offer, two offerings, but we've decided in the name of sacred union to unite them, and you'll get them both for one special price. So more information on that below. And hopefully the conversation's been piquing your interest. We've got lots more to come, you guys, but take a moment. It would really help us. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe, hit the little bell so you're notified next time we put another one of these up, because we want to see the conversation continue.
Yeah, these readings are initiations, and I am really passionate about helping people find their center through the astrological lens. It was a big part of my awakening journey to commune with higher intelligence about why I chose to come into this human bodysuit when I did. So whether you're single, whether you're in partnership, it's a great opportunity to lean into, where you're headed, where you're at right now, especially now that we're in this new era. I will absolutely give you some directive of like what to lean into right now, and also help you look at some of the things that maybe there's something, for example, called Chiron, the wounded healer. So if you're a healer out there, I help give you some insight to how to move through any of these last layers of the snake shedding. So yeah, love to connect with you, whether it's a synastry composite chart for couples, and also if you're wanting to as a single natal chart would be great. So yeah, the link will be in the description, and looking forward to connecting with you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So this Neptune, I was reading a little bit too into
Mm-hmm.
the movement of Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the American Civil War, when we had brother against brother, or a
Mm.
country going to war in itself, the
Yes.
fall of the Roman Empire. But it occurs to me that these wars aren't just what we're seeing on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the end result. Uh, it there's a much deeper, much more spiritual war going on, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like I spoke to before the break, the division versus unity, and kind of what we touched on with sexuality, the division within yourself. Even it's classic
Mm-hmm.
divide and conquer, is what it is. It's classic divide and conquer. Um, but this is achieved through illusion, through the hiding behind illusion. In ancient Tibet, they refer to it as Maya,
Mm-hmm.
the grand illusion. Um, the Native Americans talk about Watiko, the mind virus, right? They describe it as a cannibalistic mind virus. Cannibalistic in that society, instead of working towards furthering each other,
Mm-hmm.
it starts to eat itself. We get competitive and suspicious and destructive of our environment and of each other to the point that it's consuming itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? A cannibalistic mind virus. And in, archons, there's the Gnostic legend of the archons who rule through illusion. There's, in a lot of our ancient stories, there's a lot of these parallels about when the illusion, in Africa, they talk about the great black blanket that
Mm-hmm.
envelops the earth, that kind of cuts us off from our psychic abilities, from our higher self, and eventually
Mm-hmm.
from each other. Um, it is under those conditions that stuff like this becomes possible,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Absolutely.
So the opposite, it's not like a physical war, but it's like, part of the reason we do this show, part of the reason we're building the website is like, there needs to be voices like ours and also like yours that cut through this illusion.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we're starting the mystery school, because preserving some of this ancient knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. The ancients literally consulted these deeper mysteries to give people more insight into the why they're here. Because here's another thing as well that I want to say. Every single person incarnated to be alive during this time. Like every single one of us. And so therefore we are more than capable of going through the tunnel of this transformative journey. I mean, think about it. Certain souls incarnated in different eras where different things were up in front of their consciousness, right? We just happen to be in this moment, all of us witnessing this, witnessing the reality of authoritarianism. And we're seeing and we're helping you guys connect the dots of how this relates to the Civil War and how this relates to, in the end, like our voices. And yeah, this is a time. This is a powerful moment of all of us recognizing, I truly, and just reflecting back of like, you don't have to be a victim to this moment. You can hold yourself and be held in initiation and reflection. And this is why the ancients, I truly believe, consulted the stars to understand astrology, because when you understand the planets, when you understand the asteroids, when you understand that everything is so specific, I mean, even the degree to which a planet is in your natal chart gives me so much information. That alone helps me communicate to whoever I'm reading for, hey, this is what you're experiencing right now? And usually people are like in tears or in awe because they're like,
mouth open,
oh my gosh, this is why I've gone through initiations over that have been very much around betrayal. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is actually for me to move through and actually master this lesson in this lifetime. Just look at the 12th house in the zodiac. And so, yeah, I know we've gone through our fair share of like underworld, dark night of the soul journeys, but yeah, right now is a dark night of the soul and
collectively,
a collective one. And we in very shamanatrix space help people go through that. But the main thing that I'm very proud of who we are as a couple and individuals together is that we empower you to be embodied in your power. Like, we truly believe that the power is in your hands. We're just mirrors. We're here here's some information. Now, what are you going to do about it?
Well, the word Tantra itself means practice.
It's circulating.
It's practice.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
As you're speaking, I'm realizing like Tantra really is a form of autonomy because it's all about taking your energy back, being in your power, so you're not so easily manipulated by the state, by the church.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
By parents, by bosses, by the wrong kinds of lovers that don't have your best interest at heart, and sometimes even against yourself. But like, it's really about when you reclaim your power, what happens is you become less prone to manipulation from the outside. Yes. And instead of living your life reacting to the world, outside in, you are now able to create things in your life, radiate your own energy, and create from the inside out.
Yes. And in a practical way, this is something that we've discussed a lot of, but it is the journey of what I think so many people are afraid of. Or maybe not. Closing your eyes and just going within. That practice alone. Going into darkness, going into your own internal world. Breath work will do that. Breath work. Learning how to consciously breathe while closing your eyes and feeling yourself, feeling the energy move through. Like, that's becoming conscious of this internal world, which is a huge foundational principle of Tantra. It's about recognizing, yes, I am alongside the other, and I have myself, and I can go within myself, and I know thyself. Like, that's another level of power that is so, doesn't even need words. I mean, I can even think about how we approach even lovemaking and just laying next to each other and closing our eyes and just being with, recognizing that we are two divine beings of love and we are individuals, yet we get to come together and create more, right? So it is about that presence. Like, when I think about taking your power back, it's really like, take your presence back. Where's your presence? Where are you present? So many people are scattered. Like, look at your computer and your iPad. How many tabs do you have open? Like, seriously, just look at your phone. How many tabs are open, right? Evaluate where your presence is and focus. And I get it. But that's the initiation that I feel Tantra is. It's like, when I'm tracing my finger on my hand, am I present with that? Or is my mind on groceries, what I didn't get today,
Mhm.
my self-intrusive thoughts, my self-hatred. Like, where are you?
Well,
And
that's the practice. That's the
that is the
practice.
practice, because where attention, energy, or energy goes, attention flows, right? It's really taking inventory about where your attention is. And I'm always inquiring about this because in this information loaded territory of this time period with AI, like more than ever, I keep saying this. I said this to you earlier. I was like, I think I need to reel it back in. Like, whenever I feel like, oh, like I start going on a tangent, which I can do, I'm like, oh, I want to reel this back in. Like, where, yeah. So it takes a lot of practice. And I see this a lot in tantric massages with myself, with you. We bring this to the table, and this is why we're practicing presence, because I feel like that's sovereignty. I don't know. What do you think?
It is sovereignty in a world that's trying to constantly steal your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know me. I mean, sometimes to your annoyance, but I have my notifications on silent.
Oh,
I don't let the phone rule my life anymore. I have times during my day where I sit down, check my notifications, reply to messages.
yeah.
During a couple set times during my day, people can wait an hour or two for a reply unless their house
Yes.
is on fire. And then
That's
they would probably call, not text, I
right.
would imagine, you know.
Boundaries are
But
sexy.
I go to the phone
Yeah.
when I need it to do something for me, not when it needs me to do something for
Yes.
it.
I
Right?
think people are living a lot in overfunctioning and overgiving. And I know because I've been there. And especially healers out there. I'm speaking to myself, but I'm also just like, it's a thing I've been tapping into for the collective. It's like reeling back into presence with yourself is just as important. Like really pouring into yourself. I've even said this with clients lately, is like pour into yourself. Pour into yourself. Self-love is real. It's super important because when we're not full of nourishment, I mean, I can look at somebody's chart, for example, Ceres, one of the goddess asteroids, and I can see how you need to be nourished. And that's directive
Mm.
for that information. But nonetheless, it's like that is really important, especially if you're a healer or you're interested in being a priestess or you're really interested in intimacy, relationship, uh, being a coach one day or any of that. Like it's really about loving yourself right now and being present right now. A lot of people are not. I know because a lot of people are numb. If you're numb, that's because it's a coping mechanism, it's a shutdown, it is overwhelm. And that's where like somatic processing, somatic touch regulation is super important right now. And yeah, being present, like even just eye contact with somebody or yourself in the mirror right now can do wonders. So I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great,
Yeah.
great practices.
Yeah.
And meditation in the morning is a big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Take those first few minutes for yourself before you take your phone off airplane mode, before you start checking the notifications and the headlines and everything
Mm-hmm.
that demands your attention and it demands a response. Like connect with you first. Touch, tactile is great. You can put your fingers on your heart, draw a
Yeah.
little circle. That's a
Mm-hmm.
good way to bring your awareness and then meet your fingers from the other side with your consciousness.
Mm.
Okay. Or like you said, simple touching your hand, right? Be present with the touch, be present with your breath, and just a few minutes with yourself.
Yeah.
And then let the outside world in. And it's going to be a totally different you that's facing it. I promise. People try this for
Yeah.
a day and they tell me they've had the best day of their lives. People that do this for a week, like the rest of their month goes differently and usually lives change just with this
Absolutely.
one
And
simple thing. You
yes.
before the rest of the world, because yeah, it's meant to keep you scattered, divide and conquer. It's meant to be dark. It's meant to be overloading. The interesting thing about these archons, from what the Gnostics pass on to us, they say they feed on negative energy. So when you're feeling that overwhelm, that frustration, that anger, that helplessness, all those disempowering emotions that siphon your power away, all that energy gets siphoned somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And there's somebody that's the benefactor of that. You know, I used to have a t-shirt I made. I wore it out. I need to make another one, but it said, "Don't feed the archons."
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's not just metaphor and there really is a spiritual war going on, okay, don't feed them.
Mm-hmm.
Simply don't feed them. I'm not saying don't have compassion. Okay. There's a lot of suffering in the world, and it's okay to feel.
Yes.
Feel, send your love and compassion in that direction. If you can take action of any sort, write to the media, write to your senator, write a letter to the editor. These things still work. People still read them. If appropriate, take some action, but don't let it shift your energy, because then they've won. Okay. In any situation you encounter in life or any person, one of two things can happen. They or that event can shift your energy to that level, or you can be strong in your energy and shift that person, situation, event to this level of energy. That's what physics says. One or the other happens. One shifts this way, or you shift this way. So that is empowerment, is realizing you have that choice. Do you want to shift or be shifted?
Mm-hmm. It's about embodiment. It's about embodiment.
That's where it begins.
And it's also the innocence around that. It's innocence. In the end, it's the innocence of when you're talking about the presence part. And when you are a kid, and I know because I teach kids, I did earlier today, and they're young, right? There is such an innocence to them that is literally the most makes them the most present beings. And which is why I love teaching kids, because they're not, when you're young, really, really young, and you're not like conditioned and like by the programs of all the world, and because these kids don't know anything we're talking about, right? They can't even understand what is, for the lot of them, right, wrong, right? I've seen, and I continue to witness the innocence of the human form, because all of us have an inner child. All of us have an inner child. And what I keep hearing over and over, and I think this is why Neptune and Aries is going to be so powerful for so many people, is because more than ever, it is a reckoning, I truly believe, for many of us to really, really allow ourselves to receive our innocence, to receive the innocence that allows for you to be met, that allows for you to fully just surrender and let go. That is the feminine principle. The feminine is surrender, letting go. And I think what is happening too, beloved, is that we're seeing the collapse of masculine entities that are not holding the divine feminine, which is very good, the dissolving. And I think feminine leadership is on the rise. And I, as a representative, I truly believe we represent feminine embodied leadership, integrated divine and masculine and feminine. It is the reminder that you get to receive, and you get to receive your own innocence. You get to receive the magic that is your own embodiment, and I wanted to as well speak this out loud too, because there's different octaves of Neptunian energy, from the higher levels of consciousness to the lower levels of consciousness. And I just want to bring a little light to that as it relates to what I'm saying about innocence. Is like the higher octave of Neptunian energy is grounded in devotion without self-abandonment. And this is a theme that's been coming up a lot for people, even our clients and initiates, is you do not need, and I just want to reflect this back, you don't need to abandon your innocence in this time. If anything, I invite you to lean into your innocence, lean into the inner child, lean into that. Whatever practice, action, Neptune and Aries, that will help you feel more connected to that. It can be as simple as, when I was a kid, I would go to the ice cream man and I would get this and this and this and buying it and eating it. I know it's simple, but that is like, to me, mysticism embodied. It's about making the spiritual practical and an embodied remembrance. Remember your innocence. Remember the activities, experiences that made you feel truly, just like for us millennials out there, that feeling when we were in between the era of the flip phone and that of the Mac time. It was that innocence when we didn't always have the phone to go to. We didn't have these iPhones. We literally connected with our friends. I know for many of us, for me, for example, I would literally make films on my Mac and just loved being with people. So it's like, may we not forget about that in this time. So the higher octave of Neptune Aries is like, devote yourself to no longer abandoning yourself. Come home, and whatever that means. To me, the thing that's coming up for me is Blockbuster. Like when I think of inner child and I'm like, I used to go there. My gosh, I would go there all the time.
I remember Blockbuster.
It was about the popcorn. It's about running through the aisles. Anyways, high Neptune is all about compassion with boundaries. So in this time, like truly be really mindful, I would say, of who you're surrounding yourself with, what energy at all times. Allow yourself to be around art that heals you, just whatever that means. Love that includes truth, I would say. A love that is clear with you. Clarity and love is super important. Get around the people that know, that have made it clear to you that they love you. Be it dog, be it horse, be it your family member, be it a tree you go to, a bench. Let it root. I would also say like the low Neptune energy is like the fantasy replacing reality, right? We need to be mindful of fantasies that are in your world right now. Allow yourself to be rooted in your truth and your body right now, right? Avoidance is not going to work moving in this transit. I think people are noticing. The energy is too intense. Aries will bring things to the surface in the body, in the psyche, for all of us to face. Our last thing I'll say around this is projection masquerading as spirituality. So there's no more era of bypassing. If you've been bypassing, which we've all done, I think of so many people, especially we're seeing spiritual leaders that they're bypassing is very to the forward right now. But no longer projecting, bringing your back and your energy into your body and being held accountable to yourself. And so, yeah, we are shifting, as we've been talking about, from Neptune from Pisces to Aries. And the collective really learning initiation I want to remind us all in is that the invitation is how to love without losing yourself. And I invite you to really think about and reflect on what that means for you, right? How to love without losing yourself, right? You don't have to abandon anymore. How to desire in this life without disassociating, right? And disconnecting so much from that. No, hone it in and be in the body and feel your dream and then take one action in that direction. And then I would say the last thing is we're all in this transit to literally spiritualize without escaping reality. And that's, again, rooted in embodiment. Somatic work, which is the foundation that I believe Tantra is all about. The simple things, breath, sound, movement. And yeah, what a time to be alive, I would say.
Well, I think that's partly like at really the heart of how we got here. Because in these older female-led societies, right, there were temples where these kinds of things were taught, where these kind of things were practiced. Right? And some of the cultures, like Egypt, did not get invaded until the temples kind of faded in prominence from their society. But during the time of the temples and when Karnak stood strong, like Egypt was not invaded at all during that time. And that tends to be true of most cultures. Crime rates are lower. A lot of times these temples were located near prisons, near schools, or near government offices because they knew the energy radiated out too, right? And now, now we have the perverts in the headlines. Meanwhile, the sexual healers are practicing in brothels on street corners, and if they get caught in jail, talk about inversion. And I can tell you for me, there was a point where the headlines felt overwhelming, but they don't bring me down anymore. They remind me of my mission. They remind me of why we're doing what we're doing and how important it really is.
It really is. It really is, because there are more people.
The temples need to rise again.
There are more, the inner temple.
Oh, Eva, yeah.
The inner temple, therefore outer temple.
Both.
Didn't we talk about this? We've talked about this even in our relationship so much about where the church went wrong was making it that salvation was outside of you.
That's it.
And I remember when you helped me see that, and I was like, it's inside of me, It was that, it's that vitality that, that fuels my own life force. That is my sexual vitality. It's like a hell yeah. I mean, truly. When I realized that, because I went to the depths. I went to the edge. I went to the fullest extent of what I could become in that church, disconnected from inner salvation in the body. And then Saturn came up in my Saturn return around age 29, and Saturn was like, no. It was this warrior coming in and be like, it's time to dissolve the illusion of this. And that was my initiation then. And
well, you're very right. Since we don't have the physical temples for now.
We are the temple.
The temple is your body. The temple is your relationship with yourself. The temple is your relationship with another. The temple is your relationship with the society at large. That is the temple.
Yes. That shift alone changed everything for me. Everything. Because, and maybe that's why this time it feels like a launching pad. It really does. It's wild, but the dissolving, I'm like, yeah. There is this feral, divine, I have Kali, Kali on one side with a 𝗧𝗏𝗏 on the other with the lamp, and it's dark, and it's whose head do I need to chop off? It's whoa, we're going through it. And it's we're going through the birth canal of the underworld. Venus is still in the underworld here. We're in the dark. We're 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏. This is what I really connect with these energies. I've even said it. I was God, Kali, just
Well, do you know the rest of her story? She found Shiva and she sat on his cock, and she became 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏, the goddess of love.
Yes.
They're actually one and the same. They're two sides of the same goddess.
Yes. So if that's not awakening in women right now too, and men, it's coming, it's rumbling. It's yeah, I feel it in myself a lot, it's primal, you're messing with the wrong mother goddess here,
She says with a smile.
It's when you're rooted, when you're a witch. I'm not just a one woman. I'm a multidimensional being with recognition of different entities and different person. I'm the light and the dark feminine. I represent that. I've done the inner work. I've done the shadow work, the father wound, the mother wound. And it's because of everything I've leaned into, the initiations of these goddesses, the honoring of them, the recognition that they've been divine mirrors to again and again and again point me back to I am all of it, that's when I recognize, oh my gosh, at any time when someone comes into my vortex, my personal space, they can feel that. They can feel the strength that I've cultivated over and over and over. There's a reason why when we pray or we chant, I mean, the goddesses have chants. When you say a prayer out loud or the same word over, yam, anything related to your chakras, it's really regenerating your body to be in more balance so that you are a channel of the divine. And yeah, whenever someone comes into my field, I feel into their field. You know, that's what energy healers are. That's what I believe Jesus was connected to, his own internal body. He was aware of how much love he was exuding. He was aware of that. He was aware, and he stood in his power. And by the way, he was initiated by Mary Magdalene. So look into her life and the Rose lineage, and the fact that Mary Magdalene is directly connected to Isis and the
temples
ancient,
of Isis where she was high priestess. Yeah.
You know, that's also another thing. The illusions are breaking, and a lot of people are afraid of the truth because it breaks their internal safety. And I get that. It broke me. Literally, I flat on my face. I broke when I realized that the Bible that I grew up with was not the true Bible. It broke me to realize the hypocrisy of it all, that the Isis temples, these temples that worshipped Ishtar, for example, the goddess of fertility, and the hypocrisy of it all, of Christianity trying to somehow suppress, like literally evangelize and suppress these temples. And so there is a reckoning. There is a reckoning. I mean, whenever someone tries to go after the life force of something else that is beautiful, for example, someone in the throes of pleasure and love, when someone tries to crush that and say it's wrong or put a label on it, sinful, there is karmic debt. And what I'm feeling right now is things are shifting. Mother Gaia is a liberator, and she's here. That's and through Neptune. Saturn's right behind Neptune. And I'm not afraid. I'm not feeling like there's going to be a civil war. I think there's going to be a divine feminine awakening. And I think it's going to be different. And we're already feeling it. I feel representative of that. I feel that's why I'm here. It's like, yes, I love sexuality, love eros, pleasure, but more than anything, this is about your soul's journey, okay? And your heart. And the reality of it, are you going to be connecting to those parts of you, or are you going to disassociate, like with Neptune and Pisces? Are you going to allow yourself to disassociate, disconnect from your heart? You have a choice. That's what Neptune and Aries is inviting you into. That's what I'm inviting you into. Make a new decision. Just because XYZ, I mean, I was in it. Religion, it doesn't even matter. Just recognize every part of you, every initiation that's led you to this point, to let you to this podcast, to us, is for a reason. You know, I believe divine timing actually is true. And yeah.
Well, you really do have a choice. You can, at any moment, you can feed the archons with your fear, or you can build temples with your love.
Fear is just courage waiting to be acted on.
Ooh, I like that.
Just the amount of times I've felt fear, I play with, I integrate it, I move it. It's energy. Usually it's connected to your liver, right? Liver. Yeah. It's usually connected to your one of the body. I'm pretty sure in Chinese medicine, please look it up. I'm not a Chinese medical doctor or anything, but I'm pretty sure that fear is related to your liver. So sometimes it's just like a liver cleanse. Like the body needs to be purified. I've done this before. Like,
or eat foods that less alcohol.
Yeah. Your body is literally the temple, you know, what you put, what you eat, you know, and listen to yourself, be present with your body, you know, that's it.
And we're here for it. We're here for love. We're here for the building of the
Yeah.
temples. You guys, if we can help in any way, reach out.
Yeah.
Links to our social media are down below. Remember, there's the offer down below too for
Yes.
if you want to take advantage of both a astrological reading and a consultation in one package to
Yeah.
help you find some clarity in
Mm-hmm.
all of this
Yeah.
that's going on. And please, you guys, take a moment to like and subscribe. We'd love to see you back on the next episode. Don't forget to
Yeah.
click the bell. And for more information, you can find Kendall at the Tantric Mystic _
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram. And you can find me at Andre Knight Awakening, also on Instagram. And our website is at www.tantricawakening.net.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a lot.
That was a journey, and we're so grateful that you took the time to connect with us during your day, whether you were driving, whether you're at home. We really, really appreciate you, and
Thanks for sticking to the end.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll connect with you soon.
See you next time.
See ya.